Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. How are you doing today? I know you might be stuck in a few Twitch commercials here, so welcome to the channel when you get yourselves on in here. I am Bobby Munson, and I'm being joined by a very special guest today. The guy that you know from Mark Knows Wrestling. Mark, how are you doing? Are you ready for some FA Cup action here today?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. This is probably the most prestigious cup in football. It is the oldest domestic competition in the world. And it is, if you are born in England, you're bred in English football, or you are around the world, this is probably the cup that, if you're not going for the league title, this is what everybody wants. And for me, as a boy growing up, I've seen my team get to a semi-final and being close to getting to a final, but being close to that, it would be a dream to see my club one day win. Not Rangers, but one day seeing the mighty Royals being able to do that. But I'm very excited, as this is the very first time in FA Cup history that Manchester United and Manchester City are going head-to-head in a major final. By the way, I'm going to say this. I have got loads of stats. I've got loads of them. So they will be coming out throughout the day as well.
Perfect. I like having a stats guy on board, as we're being joined by my good buddy Basser. How you doing this morning, man? Good to see you. We're getting ready to watch the game here. We're going to be kicking off in a matter of just moments, I believe. They're kind of in the tunnels getting ready for the kind of opening ceremonies and everything like that. But Mark, seeing as it's your first time over here with us and everything like that, for those who don't know you well enough here, why don't you let everybody know who you are, what your show is all about, and a little of your background, where you're from in England, as you've talked about your team already.
Yeah, so my name's Mark. I have two channels. I have Mark Talks Wrestling and I have Mark Talks Sport. So the Mark Talks Wrestling, it's basically I do reviews about Raw, SmackDown, NXT, any premium live events. I'll either do a review or I did my first watch-along. Mainly NXT, I will be doing my watch-alongs. But as well, going into Mark's Talk Sport, it's all about currently Reading Football Club. It's my home team. I was born in London, grew up there, and then moved here when I was 5. My very first game was in 1999, where I saw a pre-season friendly between Reading and Newcastle. Nice. And then I got my first season ticket when I was, 10, 11, I think it was. Maybe a little bit older than that. And yeah, a year or two later, we got to the Premier League, and I have got the bug of football. I've always loved football, always enjoyed it. But I have two channels, and I love doing both of them. So yeah, bit about me. If you go check it out, just check me out.
Yeah, perfect. And you were also telling me as well, too, you are a certified soccer coach as well?
Yes, I was.
Does certification expire at any point there?
Well, it doesn't. It doesn't really expire, but it's sort of the game progresses so much that because of what I did my first coaching qualifications when I was 19, 20, I think I was. I think I did my first qualifications for that, and I did a coaching role for about 3 years, going around to schools, primary schools, and teaching kids, having fun playing football, learning about it. But it has been about 6 years, 7 years since the last time I've done it. Oh, yes, Prince William, next king. Yes, so yeah, it's I loved it, absolutely loved it. And then I had kids, and sort of now my daughter's getting into playing football, and I'm not the coach of that, but I have to sort of really hold myself back when she's playing, going, Grr! But yeah.
Oh, for sure. I myself, too, for anybody watching, might be watching for the first time, and also a certified coach. I have coached all ages, right from the U5 teams locally here in the province, right up to U21 and men's soccer as well, too. I have had the opportunity to take some of these teams to the finals, gold medals, silver medals. That have been no issue. My brother and I have coached together. We have turned teams that were pretty much the Anaheim Mighty Ducks of football. That's the kind of teams we were left with sometimes, and they walked away looking like true champions by the end of it, whether they won titles or not, or whether they just completely turned around their form of playing. We tried to bring more of a European style to the Canadian games of play here and everything like that. And I know that anybody that's over here from Europe is always appreciated that when the two of us are out there doing that kind of thing, because they definitely see our passion for it. And I think it doesn't hurt, because you've noticed a lot more people here in Canada coming from other countries, just like my family did initially. And the game itself has become a lot more popular here. We're starting to build, like, the MLS has become quite big in North America as a whole. Even in my my own province, my own city here of Saskatoon, it would be a division below the MLS, but we are expanding one of our local stadiums here, and we're going to be getting a local team involved in that. And that screams something. I know it's not the major leagues of football at all kind of thing, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to be getting my tickets to go watch live matches, because I adore watching the game.
I always say it's better to watch it. I always find it better to watch something live than it is sometimes watching it on telly. You get engrossed with the people around you. I know that when with my season ticket, I know everyone that is around me. I go to every single home game, and I know everyone that's around me. I know about their families, their kids, their dogs. I know everything. So when we turn up, it's like a mini little family we have around where we sit, and it's around that everywhere. And then you get into the game, and then you start hating everybody, and then the game ends, and then you start loving everyone again. It's sort of how it is and how it goes. But nice little rendition there of "God Save the King," getting in there, normal stuff. The FA Cup. They tried a few years ago to really turn this into like the Super Bowl type thing, where they could do like a real big halftime performance, and they did that with the Champions League final. And what people don't understand is, if you're a European football fan, we don't really care. We don't want a halftime performance. If we don't like you, you'll go. Like Carmela Cabello, she did the Champions League final. I think it was last year between Real Madrid and Liverpool, and she started singing, and Real Madrid and Liverpool fans were chanting their own songs over her, which then the TV company then had to sort of noise cancel the fans and turn her microphone up. You could just tell, you were like, yeah, football fans really do not care about halftime entertainment. What we care about is what's going to happen on that football pitch and making sure that the team wins and getting behind the team. And then hating the other fans that are over there and telling them lovely words. Let's keep it like that.
a lot of the things that we won't be repeating on the stream here today, just in the hopes that we might one day get monetized. And
I'll try not to swear. I will try not. But if you watch my shows, you know that I swear a lot.
Trust me, it's all good. If you've watched many OLE shows, and you know that between myself, Ed Fries, and a couple others here, if we had a swear jar, we'd be a very profitable company already.
I'll tell you what, that rant by Ed the other day was
priceless.
That was epic. I sat there, right? I always sit here. This is where I do like my videos, upload and watch everything, and I do everything from here. And I was sat here, and this is literally, I was in the position like this, right? I always watch it, relax, and then I just went, as he started going off, I went, I was mesmerized. I was like, go on, Ed. Get it out of your system.
I sat down to make some short videos for the channel, and I happen to I'll always have everybody tabbed all the time, whether I'm physically there watching. Everybody is always tabbed because I got a lot going on. And so I sit down to make the shorts. I'm like, okay, so I click the tab on, I turn up the volume a little bit so I can kind of hear them in the background. All of a sudden, I hear Ed make that little slip up about the poster for the Battle Royal over there, and I'm like, oh, I got him, because I know how fired up he was about Billy Corgan's comments. So I knew I had to make a comment. As soon as I did, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to sit back, grab my popcorn, grab my beer, and I'm going to enjoy this. So I did.
Right, so as we're getting into this, before we get kicked off, I want your score prediction.
Score prediction, as you could clearly see who I'm rooting for behind me, but I'm not.
No bias here. No bias.
Yeah, no bias. I'm not stupid at the same time, though, and City have been on an absolute dominating tear, so I am frightened. I feel that this one could slip away from United. I see it probably going tight and being about a 2-1, I'm guessing. And I'm saying that for City, but I hope it goes the opposite way.
Holy shit!
I think I might have just had my stream go down here. I must have missed something already.
I don't want to say.
Yeah.
Because you haven't seen it yet. I nearly swore, ladies and gentlemen. I nearly just swore.
All right. Yeah.
I have 16 seconds on the clock.
Oh.
Outside the D. Right, let's sort of explain how this went off. Went off from the kickoff. A long ball from Ortega, straight to Haaland as a long ball. The defender, Lindelof, headers it out, goes straight to Gundogan's right foot. And the man that could be leaving to go to Barcelona in the summer on a free transfer has started off this FA Cup. This has to be one of the quickest FA Cup. I've got to find it now. Is this the quickest FA Cup final goal ever?
Was David De Gea sleeping? Like he just looked like he was watching the ball just float into the top corner there. He's checking it out. I don't understand, but wow.
Right, so the one goal I've just seen before is Di Matteo against, I think it was Man United or against Liverpool, and he scored after 43 seconds. This was 16 seconds.
Oh. Ouch. This hurts.
I'm not going to lie. My score prediction. I was enjoying it, and then you were talking, and as you could say, I don't have nothing happening. I can see something going on. We might be able to do it. And as soon as you said that, it went in, and I just went, oh.
I might not be wrong after all, but this might be worse than the 2-1 prediction that I had in favor of City here.
So if we're talking about score predictions and we're talking about what's happened between them this season, in the Premier League this season, they played each other obviously twice. Manchester United beat them 2-1 at Old Trafford, and Man City beat Man United at the Etihad 6-3. As we said earlier, this is the first time these two guys have ever met in the final. United have won 5 of their last 6 FA Cup meetings against Manchester City. And the last one was the most recent one was a 3-2 away win in January 2012. Jesus. Yeah. I've got loads of stats here, so I will keep picking them out throughout the day.
I love it. Keep throwing them out throughout the day. That's perfect. The crazy part is, though, too, and you can always double check this stat, is that, United have been pretty good coming back from being down at times, too. Where they failed is when they get too comfortable, especially this season when they've been 2-0 up or anything like that. That seems to be where they drop the ball and teams have come back on them. So we'll see what their fighting spirit is like here against City. But good God, City's team. Like I loathe City. I'm supposed to hate them, but it's hard to hate when you watch good football, and there's good football being played. You can't deny the work that Pep Guardiola has put into the team. But likewise, I mean, whether someone likes Manchester United or not, compared to the way they've been over the last decade or since Sir Alex Ferguson stepped away, Eric Ten Hag has done amazing work in kind of taking a broken team and making them a little bit more of a threat finally for the first time in a long time.
See, I have a same sort of opinion, but I'm also underwhelmed by Man United this year. Look, if we look at, I'm going to look at the Premier League table while we talk.
Yeah,
I think Manchester United as a whole should not be happy with. They finished third. Okay, so they finished third, 14 points behind Manchester City this season.
Yeah,
not okay. So that's like it's Man City. It's 14 points. They still finished 9 points behind Arsenal that are in second.
Yeah, there's a large.
But if you look, it's not that it's Grace third. Look at the defeats though. They lost 7-0 to Liverpool at Anfield. They lost 4-0 to Brentford, 5-0 to Brentford?
4-0, I believe. And
they lost to Brentford.
Bad.
And they lost 6-3 to Man City. Yeah, you beat them, but you lost. You still conceded 6 goals. And with a player like Raphael Varane, you've got Luke Shaw, you've got Dalot that is also going to be here for the next 4 years. I think he just recently signed another 4-year contract on the extension for what he's on at the moment. Yeah. It's underwhelming with Man United. Yeah, I'm not expecting them to be Man City levels. No way. Pep Guardiola, to me, is an absolute genius. I think he has revolutionised modern day football. What the stuff he did at Barcelona, Bayern Munich, and now Manchester City revolutionised modern football, how football's played. But then we've also got to look at his very first season at Man City as well. Didn't win any trophies. His first ever trophyless season in football was his first season with Man City. And then from then on has won the league every single time apart from once, where he lost it to Liverpool. And the way that he's changed everything about it is, I think, if Pep Guardiola stays for another 10 years, let's hypothetically say he's at Man City for another 10 years, he will surpass Sir Alex Ferguson, not in trophies, but what he's done in that time gap of what he's done than what Sir Alex Ferguson did, in my opinion. And I love Sir Alex. I hated him when he was manager, absolutely hated him. Because I just could not stand him. That chewing gum that used to fucking chew all the time. I hated it. But at the same time, you can't deny the legendary legend he really is. Oh, AEW getting a massive little publicity there for the scoreboard.
Oh, and we got a David Beckham sighting out here as well, too. Beck's obviously going to be there anytime to support Manchester United. But yeah, not looking very happy as I see some comments coming in from people as well too. And there's Sir Alex himself. I mean, there's no denying what Sir Alex did. Of course, I would be a much bigger supporter because I've been a United supporter all this time and everything like that. But I mean, I as much as I don't like City, I think Pep Guardiola is a genius, like you said, and I don't disagree with you. In the short period of time, he could accomplish so much more than what Ferguson did in that exact time frame. If he was with City as long as Sir Alex was, then I beg the question, he could potentially surpass him in that trophy category because he has been pulling it off thus far for the club. But of course, there is also the controversy surrounding the financial fair play,
the 150,
everything like that. Yeah.
It is interesting with that one because Reading, we broke financial fair play rules and we lost 3 points last season, or 6 points last season, and we lost 6 points this season because of they deducted 6 points from us this season for the financial fair play, which in the end got us relegated from the Championship, and it'll be the first time in 20-something years Reading will be playing in League One. That's one thing the MLS needs to introduce massively: promotion and relegation. If you want to be taken seriously, it is promotion, relegation. Stop the salary cap nonsense as well. Stop doing the drafts as well. Get an academy for each of the clubs. Let them build their own academy up. Bring the players through. Promotion, relegation, transfer fees. If you've got the money, spend it. But have limits to it. Don't do what Reading did. Get absolutely screwed financially, then get us relegated. And we haven't paid like a transfer fee for a player in 3 years. So we haven't been able to promote to get our team better than what it was before. But yeah, it is something that is interesting because they come back, Man City, saying they're disagreeing with it because one of the people that was in the jury or doing something was an Arsenal fan. So they're saying he's not doing it with good intentions. It's like, you're now clutching at straws here. You are now clutching at very big straws trying to find a way out of it. And if they're found breached of it, and also it takes 4 years. Why does it take 4 years? It took Reading about 3 months for them to get us in trouble. It didn't take 4 years. So why is it taking so long? I think it's just a big, that's a throw yourself into that tackle. Oh, here we go. Bernardo Silva.
There's obviously powers at play when it comes to this whole thing. And I don't blame Pep Guardiola for saying that if if it turns out that they were in breach of all these things and the club lied to him, that he's going to be the first to hightail it out of City.
Yeah.
For them, I hope that's not the case, because you know what? They're going to be losing out not only on, I'm sure, financially, but they're going to be losing out on probably one of the most genius managers going around right now. And for those that don't understand, because you don't watch this regularly or don't watch English football, so anywhere pretty much in the world that is involved under the FIFA banner on a high level like this have the financial fair play in place. And what this is preventing teams from spending more than what they earn. So in order to be able to spend, you need to either sell players, you need to win cups, you need to do certain things to have that cash flow coming in so that it makes sense. So you can actually have players locked. You could have City go and try to buy somebody this summer and spend 120 million pounds on them. Doesn't mean that they're going to be able to register them by the time the season starts if they don't get some other people off the books and free up the money. So,
it's also interesting to add on top of that as well is you can so I'm going to go a little bit more detail here. So
yeah, go for it.
So if you look at Chelsea, so Mikhailo Mudryk signed for £90 million from Shakhtar Donetsk, and Todd Bowley has gone in and gone, okay, that's fine. We're going to put you on an 8-year contract. So what you can do with the financial books, which doesn't go with which you can use for financial fair play, is the money you spend on the player will go over the duration of his contract. So he will technically cost £10 million a year. That's it.
Yeah.
According to the financial books. If you're clever, I think it's the same with the NFL salary cap. If you're clever with it and you know how to, I wouldn't say dodge it, fiddle with it. That's probably the best way to do it in the English term, is fiddle with it and do a little bits of cheating on the way to it. You can do stuff about, but yeah, you're completely utterly right. Financial fair play sucks though, by the way.
It really does.
I hate every second of the financial fair. I understand why they've done it, because a lot of clubs are going out of business, but at the same time, it sucks. If you have an owner that can spend, let him. We've got, our owner is the 5th, I think it's the top 10 most richest person in China. And he can't spend that much money. The only thing he can spend, and also what I will say is as well, another tricky way you can get out of financial fair play is sell assets or sell stocks in the club. So if you think no, we're out of financial fair play by 10 million, I'll just buy a stock in the club for that amount of money, which will equal 1%. And you can do that all the time. There is ways of getting around it, and it is, if you're a not wealthy club, it is a pain in the massive ass, financial fair play, because it restricts you so much. But at the same time, the big clubs need to learn not to stupidly overspend.
And see, and United find themselves in that peculiar position going into the summer signings as well, too. They need to spend in order to strengthen the squad, but they need some of the squad off the books. They need to
sell the club.
Yeah, well, they do need to sell the club. And what is the
reaction? What is the reaction? Because I'm here. I'm in the UK. The Glazers are hated over here. Hated.
Yeah.
I mean, if they turned up in England, I reckon someone will find them and beat them. That's why they don't come anymore. So what is the feeling over there about the Glazers? Is there still the hatred, or because I know that don't they own the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
I believe so. And I don't follow that type of football myself, kind of thing. So I couldn't give you the full details, but it seems to me that when it comes to American football over here, that people don't care so much about the ownership as they care about their club. The owners really don't play a big deal in the matter. Okay. Some people might get frustrated because they haven't been able to buy the right players, they've been behind for years and stuff like that, but it doesn't really seem to be the same kind of level of hatred that is over there, because I know from watching the United matches and everything like that, the Glazers are hated. They've been booed out of stadiums. They have had Manchester United fans show up with the old yellow and green. It's Newton Heath, Newton Heath, if I'm not mistaken, right? But they're doing in protest of the Glazers, so they want them out. And as far as I know, that the two running right now. Sir Jim Ratcliffe is one of the ones. His company is looking to buy Manchester United, which I believe his deal would keep the Glazers in some sort of stock sharing with the deal that's on the table. But there's also the Qatar company that's looking to buy them as well too.
They also own PSG.
Yeah, they do, and that makes things interesting because again, you cannot have two teams in the Champions League play each other that are owned by the same ownership, which would rule out Man United and PSG.
But then Sir Jim Ratcliffe also owns Nice in France, if I'm right.
That's right.
So the two owners that want to buy Man United already have clubs, and I think Gary Neville spoke to the UEFA president, and he said, if one of those deals do go through, or something happens, or there's something that we can do, then we will find a way of changing the laws and changing the game so you can have two clubs fighting. I think the law in the game is the reason why of the law, if you don't know already, is because if you own two clubs, UEFA are worried that the owner could walk into a dressing room and put a briefcase down with a lot of money going, "You're not winning," and then walking out. So that it's sort of match fixing, it's called. Match fixing of it, and betting against the team as well. As we know about betting, you can't, if you're in America, I know with the NFL, you can't place bets if you're an active player. In the UK, you can't do that either. That's why Ivan Toney has recently just been given an 8-month ban from football, which I think, I understand the rule, I get it. But if you're only giving someone an 8-month ban and you're just giving someone who's done a homophobic or racist, and you're giving them a player that's done that a 2-month ban, then what you're saying is betting is worse than racism.
Yeah, and
it's like,
yeah, and it's touchy because they really promote the idea that it's a sport for everybody. There's no hate in football or anything like that, and then to make that
their actions don't do it.
Yeah. It's not right.
So John Terry, one of the most famous English defenders of all time, was charged for racism against Rio Ferdinand's brother, and he got a 2-month ban. And Luis Suarez did the same thing and got a 4-month ban or 5-month ban. He also bites players as well, so he's an angry person. It's just the logic behind. Look, I get it. If you're going to give someone an 8-month ban for betting, then give someone a 4-year ban or never allow them to play again if they say a racist term or a homophobic term or something derogatory to someone. If you're in the heat of football, you're going to swear at them. You're going to tell someone to go fuck themselves, and you're going to go and say things that you don't mean. And it's the heat of battle, heat of the moment. It is one of those things. I stand in those stands and I shout and I will tell every person, I fucking hate you. I hope you die. I hope you fall down a well, and I hope I never see you again. As soon as the game fish go, all right, mate, how you doing?
Yeah. Let's go have a beer at the pub.
Yeah, let's go and have a drink. All the time. I do it all the time, and it is one of you're going to do it, but you can't. I could go on a very long rant about my hatred for that rule. I think it's just you're saying one thing but doing another, and also. 90% of the teams will have a betting company. Like here, I've got a Rangers top on, Unibet, right?
Yeah.
My Reading top, no, that's not. The old Reading top had a Carabao, which was an energy drink, not for kids. Betting, not for kids. And then there's a law coming in next season in the English game, I don't know whether it's worldwide, that you can't have betting sponsors or alcohol beverages or anything that's produced or made for over 18s, because in the UK you can drink when you're 18. Over 18s at the front of your shirt.
Depends what pub you go to, you might get away with a little younger sometimes.
If you go to any park, you could get away with it. You're younger.
Yeah,
I'm telling you that now.
I remember because like when I think it was my mom, my brother, and sister ended up going back to England for a visit, and my brother was down there, and I think he was only 15 or 16 at the time, and he'd walk into the pub with granddad and everything like that, and he'd walk up to the granddad, go grab the beers, mate. And so he goes up there and asks, and the guy goes, "Where are you from?" "I'm from Canada." And all of a sudden the bartender, the pub guy, goes around. Oh, well, you must be at least 18. Here you go, mate. Hands the beers right over. We are being joined on the YouTube side here. Sarthak Kadashi, I hope I pronounced your name correctly. I apologize if I didn't, but hello, welcome for this watch along. We're glad to have you on board. Who you rooting for? This should be an interesting game as City are already up 1-0, but United have bounced back a little bit. They've looked a little stronger defensively. They got caught off guard, but they do need to pick up their feet if they want to pull this one back for sure. And please shout out, yes. Let us know where you're from. How'd you find us here this morning? I'd like to hear from you. Mark, let's talk about the way English football is structured a little bit here as well, too. Mm-hmm. So we're talking about Reading and playing in Division 1 next season. So for those that aren't familiar with it, the Premier League is the top division in English football. From there, you go down one. It's going to be called the Championship. From there, it's League 1, then League 2, and then you kind of get into these sub leagues here. We got a Man City fan in the house here, so I'm getting outnumbered here pretty quickly. So everyone's gonna love Razaby here. And Barry Monkey's coming in. I'm getting crushed here. You guys are gonna disappoint me. From India. Well, thank you for joining us from India as well too. Really happy to have you on board. Hope you're enjoying the game and. Let's go back to that for a minute though, Mark. It's that structure, and I know it's all of a sudden come to light here in North America, and a lot of that is due to Ryan Reynolds and Wrexham. Yes, big time, because that popularity that Ryan Reynolds has brought to Wrexham United has made people pay attention. So I've had a lot of people asking lately, how does that work? Where are they? Are they anywhere near the Premier League? And I'm like, they have a long, long road ahead of them if they're ever to make it to the Premier League, and it is on a wing and a prayer that they will get there. Very few teams.
Okay, let's use Wrexham as an example of where they are and how this all works. So Wrexham currently were in the Vanarama National League. So Vanarama National League is one below League 2. This is made out of professional and semi-professional teams. Some of the teams that will go in will not have a wage, but will not have it, and some will have to pay to play. There will be teams that you are a professional and you will get paid. Wrexham are a fully professional team. They have been for the past 3 years. When Ryan Reynolds took over, as we all know, we've all seen the Disney. Well, I watch on Disney Plus. The documentary that they did, and it is. I love Ryan Reynolds. If he ever turned up to my house and said, "I want you to come and live with me," I would 100% leave with Ryan Reynolds. He is the godly among men. Anyway, back to Wrexham. So Wrexham are in the Vanarama National League, and they've just recently become champions of the Vanarama National League to go to League 2. League 2 is made out of 24 teams, and in the 24 teams, 2 will get promoted, 3 will get promoted automatically, and 1 will have to go through playoffs. So the playoff system, if you guys do not know, I'm going to quickly run it down. It is 4 teams. The top of the 4 and the bottom of the 4 will play each other, and the middle 2 will also play against each other. The winners of those games will then go to Wembley to play in a final to get a chance to get promoted. Once you're promoted from there, you will then go to League 1. League 1 is where you'll get 3 teams that will get relegated and 3 teams that will get promoted from League 1. I don't know why it is all backwards in League 1 to League 2. It might be the other way around. I think there's 2 teams that can get promoted from League 1. 2 teams get relegated. It is a mess how they've really thought this through. You go into League 1, and then once you get promoted or go into League 1 and you get through the game, same with the playoff system as well, you will then go to the Championship. The Championship, I don't know whether you guys get any of the matches over there, but if you get a chance to ever watch the Championship, it is the toughest league, and I will have no qualms in saying this, in the world. It is the hardest league to get promoted out of because the amount of games you have to play and the amount of different ways of playing. With the Premier League, it's the same type of thing. You know what you're getting with Man City. You know what you're going to get with Arsenal. In 1 week, you could be playing the same team 4 times in a week. Championship, you've got no chance. Every team has a different way of playing, and it is the hardest league to get out of. Once you get out of that, you're in the Premier League, and then it's the money jump from the Championship to the Premier League is massive. Like, look at Luton. Luton Town will have the smallest stadium in the Premier League next season. The smallest.
Yeah.
They have to spend £10 million to redo the whole stadium to get it up to Premier League standard, and they have to do that in 3 months. They have to get that done before the Premier League starts. And going in, if they didn't get promoted, they would never been able to do it. But because they got £150 million there and then, just for getting promoted, and now they will have the TV money, the revenue, the commercial deals, everything, just for being in the Championship. They will be set for the next 2 years, 3 years, easily done. Even if they get relegated, which I really hope they do. And if they do get relegated, then they will be set as a club for the next 2 years to get back up. Like Leicester. Leicester won the Premier League 10 years ago, just got relegated to the Championship. It's the toughest league to get through, toughest league to do. And that's how the English pyramid, as they call it, is working.
For sure. A couple of questions coming in here, Mark, and maybe you know this. Do you know who Sunil Chetri, I believe is the pronunciation, greatest of all time footballer in India is? I'm not familiar myself, so I want to know if you know.
I've heard of the name. I'm not 100% sure, but I have heard of the name before. If I've heard of the name and he's played and he's an Indian footballer, then he's probably very, very good. Because we don't get much of the Indian Super League over here. So, but I know a lot of the former Messi or Ronaldo.
This is always a fun question, and you would think with the flag behind me, it should be obvious. But you know what? As far as I'm concerned, fuck Ronaldo. It's Messi all the way because he's got a much better attitude. I prefer him more. I just think that Ronaldo is a victim of his own demise. I think that he's a great footballer, but I think that his arrogance gets the best of him, and as he's starting to age, he's not understanding his position. I think that's why it became a mess at Manchester United. And I think that Erik ten Hag did a fantastic job with dealing with somebody who thought that he was bigger than the club. And honestly, I think that, yeah, they were missing the goal scoring that he provides, but they will get back there once they find the right striker for the team and somebody who has the right attitude. Yourself, though, Ronaldo or Messi?
So this debate ended at the World Cup. For me, this debate ended. I was always a Ronaldo fan because my philosophy in football is if you can make it in the Premier League or you do it in the Premier League, this is the toughest league in the world. I will not have anyone tell me there were other leagues in the world where they do really well in Europe, like the Spanish league, not competitive whatsoever, but they have a very good understanding of Europe. Italian league, for once, they're actually doing well in Europe. I don't know what that sounded really weird. But at the same time, but for me, Messi at the age of 35, 36, I think, however old he is, to go to a World Cup and single-handedly grab his country with the pressure that man was on and losing the very first game against Saudi Arabia and the pressure that was on that team after losing that first game to grab them by the horns and getting it over the line and winning the World Cup, for me, look, Ronaldo is one of the greatest players who's ever stepped foot in the English Premier League game by far. One of the greatest Real Madrid superstars that's ever happened. He probably will go down as one of the best players, even though it's his short time at Juventus, playing at Juventus of what he did. He will go down as one of the greatest Manchester United players of all time. And it's not even a question of debate with that. The one thing I felt that was wrong with the situation with Ronaldo and United was it was twofold. He didn't understand the role he had to play and what he was doing and what he had to do. And then you look at it as well on the other way. I don't think Man United handled the situation the way it should have done. This should have been done in the summer.
Honestly,
this should have been done as soon as Ten Hag come in and they knew Ronaldo might not sign a new deal and they knew that he wasn't happy with what was going on. That's when you go, okay, here's the money, enjoy, go and find yourself a new club. Go and find yourself a new club. Go and find what you want to do and enjoy yourself. Have fun, right? Go and do if you want to go early to... No, Siri, I'm not talking to you. if you want to go over to Saudi Arabia and play for Al Nasser, go and do it early. Go and get there at the beginning of the season, do it. Atletico Madrid wanted him, but then the fans protested, and that was never going to happen. Real Madrid have come back saying, we want you, but an ambassadorial role. We don't want you to play. Go and do that. Go to PSG. Try and find a way of getting in the PSG team so you can finally team up with Messi. Everyone's wanted Ronaldo and Messi in the same fucking team. So go and get it done. VAR.
I think you might be a little slight touch ahead of me, possibly. Brian Carter, happy Saturday to you as well, too, sir. Thank you for stopping by as we are watching the FA Cup final here, Manchester United, Manchester City. And then our new friend of the chat here wants to know, do you watch cricket, Mark? I got to say, yes. I've seen it. I don't get a lot of it over here in Canada, so I don't follow it closely. But, Mark, a little bit about cricket there, because I know we got a lot of people here that probably aren't too familiar with what cricket is exactly.
Cricket is one of the best sports, depending on what cricket you want to watch. Currently, it was in the background, but I'm currently got Formula One down here, watching what's going on. But it's penalty.
Yeah, looking like this.
Well, I'll answer your question in 2 minutes. I just want to see what's happened. So,
is that a handball then on this penalty? Yeah, that's what it looked like here.
So Wan-Bissaka's head it back and it's hit his hand, but because his arm is in an unnatural position, it will go down as a penalty. So Jack Grealish, as intentionally or unintentionally as it was,
sucks. That sucks when that happens.
Yeah, it's now.
Barry Monkey coming in, Wrexham. They'll end up together in some old folks walking football team in 20 years' time.
Did you see the thing? Did you see the tournament that the Wrexham team are in at the moment in America?
No. I've seen all the advertisements for the preseason friendly with Man United or whatever, where Ryan Reynolds and company call Sir Alex.
Yeah, so Wrexham and Borussia Dortmund bring in legends of their clubs, or they can have current players go to America to do a 7-side tournament. But hold on, we've got Bruno Fernandes stepping up here against Ortega in the final. 31 minutes on the clock.
Come on, Bruno, bury this thing.
It's Bruno Fernandes. The last time he missed a penalty was against Aston Villa.
I've got the odds stacked against me here. People are against me. We need to pull one back. Come on, Bruno. Sorry, we'll get to you in a moment, my friend. In the chat there, just 1 second. There it is. Woo-hoo-hoo. We're 1-1. This is a game now. We got going. This is going to be interesting moving forward now for sure, as the teams are locked at 1. The best cricket player in the world, Virat Kohli, and loves Ronaldo. Again, I made it sound like I just despise Ronaldo. I despise the recent Ronaldo. Ronaldo, when he came in, had a little bit of arrogance to him in Man United. Once he went to Real Madrid, I started to respect him a lot more because he kind of settled down. He kind of became a lot more mature, and he was a great footballer to watch. My biggest issue with Ronaldo upon coming back is it seemed like United, for all the work they were trying to do to rebuild, everything started to become a revolving around Ronaldo situation. He didn't understand his role. But I agree with you, Mark, when you say it could have been handled better on United side as well, too. It just seems like they were I think the board were so determined to keep a superstar at the level of Ronaldo that there was just no having it kind of thing. And he just didn't like the way Ten Hag was putting the team together. And that's fine. It's understandable. He's gone off to do his thing. We'll build around it. I mean, clearly Ten Hag's done enough to get us in a position where we could be 1-1 hopefully going into the half here at least anyway. So we'll see how things pan out.
Okay, so I've seen a replay now of that penalty incident about 3 times, and I can wholeheartedly say that is not a penalty.
It's not
a penalty.
I hate that ruling, and I get it. But it's so like, as I played defense most of my soccer playing time and stuff like that. And as a center back, my job was always to get that ball out of the way no matter what. And no matter what you do, it is almost damn near impossible not to have. Oh, we got stepping out for the rest of the day. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for being chatty with us. We appreciate it. Come by anytime. Love to hear from you. Have a wonderful day, my friend. The thing is the defender, and I've been red carded. I've had penalties called against me, and it's completely unintentional. You don't mean to do it. I even have one game where I'm holding the post, and the ball's coming in from the corner kick, and as it's coming up and over, I get it off my head, but of course I didn't tuck my arm in enough, and the ball ends up rolling down and nicking the side of my hand. Nothing that interfered with the actual play, but I was given an instant red card and a penalty shot for the other team, which really, it's a shame. But even less so, Grealish is. I'm looking at that thing, and that thing's barely rolling off his wrist. By the looks of it.
It still hit him. It still hit him. But what I've watched it, and if you're jumping and you're jumping up in the air and you're falling, your arms are going to come out to stop you from falling.
Yeah.
If you're going down, you're not going to go like that pencil dive, are you, onto a ground, are you?
No.
So I understand. Okay, so the best way to explain it is I understand why it's a penalty, but they're taking common sense out of football. And I had heard this great quote the other day, well, years ago, and I use this quote for all my life now, is common sense isn't that common. And I use that, and I go, do you know what? That is probably the best thing I've heard. Common sense isn't a common. And also another one that I heard that I absolutely love as well. Opinions are like arseholes. Everyone's got one, not everyone should.
That's right.
That is another one I do love.
I mean, I'm not going to complain about the scoreline, that's for sure. But at the same time, I do agree with you that I think it's a harsh call on the penalty. I'm not going to sit there and defend that. I'll take it. But it's 100% not a penalty and shouldn't have been if you're using common sense. And that, to me, that's the problem with VAR. And I want to get your opinion on VAR because sometimes it serves a purpose, but I think other times it goes a step too far in almost eliminating that common sense because now they can fine tooth comb through the footage and go, well, it did kind of slightly brush the side of his hand kind of thing, almost to a point where it's like it's become too much. And while VAR has its purpose sometimes, I think that it's gotten a little too carried away at times.
See, the one thing that I want us to introduce is, I don't know whether you guys have it in America, is the rugby referees. So in rugby in Europe, the referees, you can hear the conversations through the telly and in the arena, what they say to a player or what they say to the video system. So they go, right, I think this has happened. This is what's gone on. This is what I think needs to happen. What do you think? The video system will go off, have a look at it, and you can hear what they're saying back to the referee. In the past 3 weeks, we had the first time ever footage in the English game of hearing what the referees were saying to the fourth official. And it worked. You understood what they were doing, but there was weeks upon weeks upon weeks of people debating, why was this given? Why did VAR do this? Why was that done? We need to hear it. We need to see it. VAR will go down, and the purpose of it is to make it a fair and neutral game. So if there is a little thing that happens that could give an advantage to the other team and they're doing it, it's to neutralize that and make sure it doesn't happen. I agree with most times with VAR, and it is also, it's meant to be a non-human error, but it's humans working a computer. And we all know that we're all not great at using computers. So for me, it's very much VAR works, and it works well, and it does what it needs to do. But when you take the little incidents, we just need to hear it. We need to know what the rule and what it was doing and why they're doing it. And I think with that, and also I think you need to have a little bit more common sense. I think there was this great topic and conversation we're having in England that we want ex-players. That could be a penalty. That could be a penalty. No, we didn't get the ball there. No, referee's not doing anything. VAR looking at this. Wait, hold on. If the ball goes out of play, I presume this might be too many phases too long for it to be done. And the phase thing annoys me as well. Yeah. No, it's still going. Still going. They're just playing around now, Man United. No, United did very well there to play out their own half and then just got dispossessed by Gundogan. Yeah, and I think it's a great way to move the game forward. But what I will say is as well, with Bruno Fernandes's goal, that now makes him have a total of 14 goals this season in all competitions and 16 assists he is now on with that goal. And if you compare that to Man City, shall we, where Kevin De Bruyne is on 16 assists and 7 goals, and he's also he's on 10 goals this season, and Haaland is on 51 out of 56. 51 goals in all competition out of 56 games.
The guy's a beast. Let's not deny it. I mean, he's a phenomenal striker.
One of the best strikers in the world. I do not get the Mbappe versus Haaland. It's Haaland.
Oh, for
it's
sure
Haaland.
It is. Yeah, because I mean he's in the Premier League doing that shit. Like, and that's difficult.
Mbappe's doing it in France, and if you look at the French league, don't. This is the best way of doing it. If you're looking at the French, don't, because it is not. PSG will win the league. They would celebrate winning the league by about 40 points, and they're done by February. And everyone else is just. It is. French football needs to sort itself out because it is the worst league. We have the top 5 leagues in Europe. The top 5 leagues in Europe are the Premier League, La Liga, Spain, Bundesliga, Germany, France, Ligue 1, and Serie A in Italy. And at the moment, Premier League's number 1. Then it's normally Spain. Then it's Germany. Then it's Italy. Then it's France. France is always at the bottom. Always at the bottom. French football used to be very, very competitive, and then the Qataris took over French football, and there's no financial sort of fair play for PSG, and now it's just not competitive. Bundesliga this season, Dortmund could have won the league in the last game of the season if they won, but they lost. They drew, which meant that Bayern Munich have now won the Bundesliga. It says 11 years in a row, but if you look from Bayern Munich, Borussia Dortmund, you now got Union Berlin, Borussia Mönchengladbach, Eintracht Frankfurt, all those teams. The list goes on for Spain, Real Madrid, Barcelona, Atletico Madrid. You've got Real Betis, Villarreal, Valencia, historical clubs in Spain as well. Oh, that should have been a goal. Should have been a goal. But yeah. That's why I think that Haaland is miles ahead. And I went on a long rant about all leagues.
Yeah. And I mean he's killing it there. Now, not to say, like, when we talk about the Mbappe thing, like, Mbappe is good. He's really good. And if he were to come to the Premier League, I'd be curious to see how he handles being in that division and really prove himself. But that'd be the same for any of the people that are being earmarked for potential moves to the Premier League this season. Another one, Victor Osimhen, I think would be an interesting one because he's done very well currently where he's at. But I'm curious to see, would he make that kind of difference to a team like Manchester United if he was to end up coming there? I really don't think that's who they're going to end up signing for a striker. But, of course, that is one of the rumors that is out there, that he's on the short list for them.
Yeah, United need. They haven't really covered, have they, from Ronaldo leaving? They got Wout Weghorst, who's...
Yeah, like Rashford's done really well, but again, Rashford likes to come in from the left flank. He doesn't necessarily like playing up top all the time. So it'd be good if we could have somebody that partner really, really well with him, and it would become very dangerous up there with the way he's playing. But
it's not a penalty. I've seen it again. It's still not a penalty. Or Beckham's happy. Fucking hell, he was very happy, man. Jesus. Should we go for some more stats?
Yeah, let's hit him up with some stats here, Mark.
Right. Here we go. So this is City's 12th FA Cup final. They've won 6, lost 5 in their previous 11. Where the last one, most really, where they beat Watford 6-0 in 2019. United are contesting their 21st FA Cup final, the joint most of any side in the history of the competition, along with Arsenal. They've won the trophy 12 times, with their 8 final defeats, the joint most of any side, along with Chelsea and Everton. Following the Premier League win, City could win the League FA Cup double for the second time in their history after 2018. They would be the third team to do so on more than one occasion after Manchester United did it in 1993, 94 season, 95, 96, 98 and 99 season. And Arsenal also did it in 70, 71, 97, 98, 2001 and 2002. Having already won the League Cup against Newcastle this season, Manchester United are looking to win both major domestic competition in a single season for the first time. They would be the fifth different side overall to achieve this after Arsenal in 92-93, Liverpool in 2000 and 2001, and 21-22, and Chelsea in 2006-07, and Man City in 2018-19. And this is the best one I've seen so far, right? With this Manchester United goal, City, before this game happened, City are yet to concede a goal in this season's FA Cup run. In the Football League era, since 1888-89, only two teams have won the trophy without conceding a goal from the very start to the tournament to the winning the trophy. I'm gonna give you this, right? I want you to name the two teams. The one team did it in 1889, and the other team did it in 1903. Can you name the teams? I want to say
93. I'll go on a limb and say it possibly United in 93.
No, not 93.
No.
1903.
Oh, 1903. Okay, never mind. I pulled that back entirely. Then, Jesus, how old are some of these teams then too? Because some of them wouldn't be even. Oh, you've got me through a loop here. I'm gonna say Liverpool's got to be one of the two. I'm thinking, but I could be wrong. Yikes! Other than that, I want to say Leeds, but I could be wrong.
I'm gonna give you a hint. Yeah. It's not either of those teams.
Okay.
Both of these teams are not in the Premier League anymore.
Not in the Premier League anymore. That opens it way up.
Yeah, it is a big...
No, hold on. Any more as of the beginning of this season or any more going into next season?
Both. One team recently went bankrupt and just come back, and another team is playing in the division below of the Premier League.
Okay. You're hitting me up with a good one here. I gotta say that much. I'm going to say, and it wasn't Leeds, so that's kind of rules them out. And is it Southampton? Like, is Southampton one of them? Because if not, it's got to be Leicester then.
So
for the other one,
the two teams that have done a whole FA Cup run without conceding are Preston North End, who did it in 1889, and Bury, that did it in 1903. Bury, 4 years ago, went extinct. Their club went to financial ruin, went into administration. They left their ground. The ground got sold. It was a whole financial ruin behind there. If you are interested in looking into a deep dive into Bury, it is fascinating but horrible at the same time what went through them doing it. It's interesting some of these stats as well. So City are the highest scorers in this season's FA Cup from the first round onwards with 17 goals. The last team to score more in a single campaign was Man City themselves, where they scored 26 and they lifted the trophy in 2019. They're breaking their own bloody records or trying to beat their own stuff at this point. Having won 3-1 in each round from the third round to the quarterfinals this season, United reached the final by beating Brighton on penalties after 0-0 draw. No team has ever been involved in a penalty shootout in the semi-finals and the final within the same FA Cup season. I've said that. We know where this is going. Don't we?
And I am listening to you, but I'm also just watching this replay of this yellow card that Wan-Bissaka just got, and I can see why it was given at a glance. And at the same time, when you watch that replay really close, there wasn't a lot of contact. I mean, he didn't play the ball, but it didn't overly look like he played the Man City player that much either. So it's kind of debatable in that sense. But hey, whatever. I mean, Wan-Bissaka, if you're going to go into tackles like that so carelessly, my friend, you're probably going to get your ass booked.
Mm-hmm.
So sorry to cut you off from the stats there. Everything I just
No, absolutely fine. I've sort of got my eye on the what the hell? Sorry, I'm just keeping my eye on Formula One as well at the same time.
Yeah. I'm just I think I'm slightly behind you just because it's they're about to take the free kick here. Definitely dangerous from a free kick position, Man City. They've got all the right players to put this in. Hopefully United defends it out. There we go. David De Gea with a nice catch. And David De Gea is still up for speculation about whether or not he's going to re-sign with Manchester United, because it sounds like a pay cut is on the books for him if that is the case. It's going to be very, very interesting to see.
I am interested. How old is David De Gea now?
I think he's only 32. If I'm not mistaken.
He is 32, he's 32.
Which, I mean, is still pretty young when it comes to especially when it comes to a goalkeeper. So, yeah, that's it's going to be an interesting time this summer. Mark, I've just got to step out for the 2 minutes just to go to the bathroom as we head into halftime here. So I will be back here shortly with you. I'll see you in a couple minutes.
No worries. Go for it. Right. Joy to carry on while you're gone. Oh, he's gone for a week, so I'm going to carry on while he's gone. Let's reel off some stats while he is not here, and let's have a look, shall we, at what's happening and what's going on. I'm just checking to see if we're still alive. I'm not talking to myself. Yes, I am. So, some more of these stats. If Erik ten Hag wins, he will be the fourth different Dutch manager to win the FA Cup, with Ruud Gullit, Gus Hiddink, and Louis van Gaal. Let's talk about the match so far overall. Very contested, very much all City, and Man United are really trying to hit them on the counter-attack, really trying to make sure that Man United can soak up all the possession, all the stats, and then just hit City on the break and get them going on the break. And so it's interesting. After going 1-0 down after 14 or 15 seconds, they come back with a penalty that's going to be talked about for a while, because I don't think it's a penalty at all. I think it's very much it's common sense at this point. The ball's coming in, it's come over the top. Jack Grealish has jumped to try and head it. He's missed it as he's trying to land. The header's come across, hit him in the hand, and it just didn't go his way. And I still don't think that's a penalty. I don't know what you guys thought. Tell me what you guys think in the comments, whether you think that is a penalty or not. So it is very interesting what is happening at the moment. Good game, good FA Cup, normal FA Cup, cagey, normal Premier League standard footballing going on. But it is just going to be. I do have a funny feeling that this is going to be going to the final, and I'm interested to see how this goes and what happens here. So 12 seconds, sorry. So they flick it on. It goes all the way up. It's Casemiro versus Haaland. Haaland flicks it on, tries to get it to Kevin De Bruyne. Kevin De Bruyne misses it, and Gundogan is there with the right foot into the top right-hand corner of the goal. You look at the kickoff, as we're looking here, as the match highlights here presented by Match of the Day. Flicked on. Fred is just watching. No one is in arm's distance of Gundogan. No one's near him. And if you know who Gundogan is, you know that with his talent and with the way he is, going with the right foot, especially outside the box, you don't let Gundogan with that going on. What a fucking strike that is. Sorry for the language, but the perfection.
Drop it all away. We don't have a problem with it.
the perfection of that volley, you can't save those.
No, like it's funny because in replay, it looks like David De Gea is just standing there watching, but it was impossible to really predict how that was going to play out because it was such a beautiful volley. I mean, there's There's no two ways.
So we're just seeing here.
Brilliant goal.
We're just seeing here on UK Telly Match of the Day that they're showing the previous holder of the quickest FA Cup goal, which was 29 seconds. It was Everton against Chelsea in 2009. Louis Saha, former Manchester United striker, Fulham striker, getting that goal, which I presume Chelsea went on to win because it's Chelsea back then. But I want to give you a question. We're here at halftime. Yep. We're waiting to go into the second half. So part of the stats I've got, I'm going to do a little bit, not of a quiz. I'm not going to give you a quiz. I'm going to ask you a question and see if you can get it. Sure. Spanish managers have won the FA Cup on 4 occasions. I want you to name them. I won't let you name all of them. I want you to see if you can get it. Take Pep out of it. That's Pep's one. Name 3 others.
Benitez. I imagine it's got to be one of them. Just try to. I'm bad with names, so I'm probably going to forget here. But just try to.
One of them is still the man. One of them is still a manager in the Premier League.
Is still a manager in the Premier League. Oh shit! I'm just trying to think down the list of Premier League teams and who
comes second.
Well, okay, so your Arteta must have been one then. Okay,
he won it in his very first season in the first 3 months of being Arsenal manager.
It's still so weird for me because a lot of these managers that we're seeing now are players that I grew up watching. So when I hear like Arteta in charge of, I know Arteta's managing Arsenal, and we got wasn't it John Terry just stepped back in, or no, Lampard stepped back in for Chelsea, and I think John Terry
he's a coach. He was coached at Leicester. Steven Gerrard, Scott Parker. Those type of players. Like now, I know how my mum feels when she used to watch it. She used to go, "Oh, I remember him playing." Now I know how she feels. Now it's like, "Oh, I feel so old."
Yeah, you got Rooney as a manager these days too.
Yeah, he's in the MLS. Is he still in the MLS with
DC United, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah,
Christian Benteke is their striker.
Yeah,
Christian Benteke was on another level when he was at Aston Villa. To another level. So the last man, so we got Rafa Benitez, Mikel Arteta, Pep Guardiola, and the last one, which is a very difficult one, Roberto Martinez, who was manager of Wigan. Yeah, who won it in 2013.
I'd forgotten about him, and that's a shame because he was a good manager too. Like he's definitely got some skill there. And talk about having a good laugh about feeling old. So the wife and I have loved watching Ted Lasso the last 3 seasons that it's been on. And here's the thing. It's not 100% accurate with how English football works all the time, but I think it's about as accurate as you're ever going to get for a show that's kind of a drama comedy. But it's great, all the little things that if you're a fan, you catch, like Thierry Henry on commentary and stuff like that and everything. Like
him and Gary Lineker. So I don't know in America if you know who Gary Lineker, or Canada who Gary Lineker is. So Gary Lineker, if you don't know, is one of the greatest English strikers that's ever existed. Back in the day, he's played for teams like Leicester. He went to Barcelona and he was playing with Johan Cruyff, he also become the manager of him as well. He's played for Tottenham. He played for one of the 3rd all-time leading English national team goal scorers. He is the only people that are ahead of him is Bobby Charlton, Wayne Rooney, and now Harry Kane. Gary Lineker is an absolute legend, and also over in England, he is the man that does walkers.
And Kane only just beat that record too, didn't he? Kane just only barely topped him.
But he still has another 4 years, I would say, left, and he will demolish that record.
Oh, for sure he will. I mean, he's fantastic in front of goal, especially for having a team that really he doesn't have much support when it comes to his backing team there at the moment. They had a not great season, and it was not due to Harry Kane. Harry Kane did everything he could to fire Tottenham into the top 4.
Harry Kane is, if you look at the stats, I'm going to go and get them up while I'm in. If you have a look at the stats, so Harry Kane was the second Highest goal scorer in the Premier League this season behind Erling Haaland, who got 36. He got 30 in a Tottenham team that finished 8th.
That's insanity. I mean, to have the second top goal scorer finish 8th in the league. You can imagine what he would have done if he was playing for somebody that would have been contending for a Champions League position this season.
Look at Man United. If Man United had Harry Kane, they would have been more competitive to Man City and Arsenal than what they were.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, because there would be that fear. Instead of having that just absolute shit loony Weghorst, I don't even want to try to pronounce his name because I want to forget that he even stood out on the pitch for us. That was awful. I don't even know why they brought him in, and I don't want to pick on the guy, but he is no Premier League striker by any sense of the word. You're that tall, and you're not a guy who can do heading. I mean, a lot of people say, okay, he drags the defense. I'm like, I don't care. You're the striker. Your job isn't to just drag the defense every time. Your job is to put goals in the back of the net. And when you score, 2 in all competitions in that frame of time, I'm sorry, you're just not good enough. And there's a reason you're not being signed full-time.
Oh, former Reading manager Jaap Stam is on my TV.
Oh, I like Jaap Stam is one of my favorite players of all time. So as we were kids, that's why I wear the number 6. I made that decision after watching Stam on Manchester United, and I fucking loved watching this guy. I still remember it. I can't remember who they were playing when I was a kid watching, and there's this lippy shit on one of the other teams that's lipping one of the United players off, wagging his finger in his face and backing up as he's doing it, acting like the tough guy. And all of a sudden, he bumps into somebody. He turns around with that intent, like, I'm going to give this motherfucker a piece of my mind. Yes. And all of a sudden, he realizes it's Jaap Stam, big Jaap Stam standing behind him, and he just pats him on the chest. No, mate, we ain't doing this today, kind of thing. No. Jaap Stam is phenomenal. Love that guy. Josh Joseph, dude, how you doing? Okay, Bobby, I've never followed soccer, and yes, the typical American thought, but I respect you.
No.
Teach me soccer.
No. Right. First thing I will teach you is you do not call it soccer. It is football.
Yeah.
It is football. All right. The thing you throw with your hand is called rugby. It is not football. I will debate. I like NFL. I call it American football. I like NFL. I am a Miami Dolphins fan because I don't know why. I supported them. My mum likes Dolphins, and she liked the Dolphin logo, and that's how I become a Miami Dolphins fan. But first lesson, Joseph, don't call it soccer. You call it football.
There
Done.
you go.
Lesson 1 over. That is my first. So Jaap Stam, when he managed Reading 2006 to 2018, then he got us to the playoffs, and we lost in the final. But he revolutionised Reading. So Reading were very much a team of long ball football, direct football, attacking, where he come in and went, nope, we're passing it. We're going to old school Dutch football. Pass it around, keep the ball. The opponents will get bored and then they will lose track, and then we'll go in. And the old fans where I was sitting did not like the football. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. But we're going on goal scorers. Quickly go back with Harry Kane getting Erling Haaland getting 36, Harry Kane getting 30. The next best in third is Ivan Toney, who got 20.
Wow, that's a huge leap. That's massive between third and second, or third and first even. It's insane. And just going back to Josh here for a moment. So Josh, what I can teach you about football, my friend, is that it is one of the greatest games that's ever existed, if not the greatest sport that's ever existed, whether you follow it or not. It's all under the FIFA banner. There is all the different countries have their different leagues. Each league kind of has sub leagues, and it's about getting promotions and stuff like that, depending on where you go. So here in North America, for us, Josh, you'll find that we have the MLS, and there isn't really the same kind of penalties or anything like that, where if you just shit the bed, you go down and better teams come up to make it more competitive. I
do think every American sport needs it, because you call yourself so the one thing that I discovered that I know a lot of people in the UK and Europe hate about America is you say when you've won a trophy like the NBA, you're world champions. No. you are American champions because you didn't beat anyone around the world. You haven't beat, like when they say you are what? No. You're an American champion. Yeah. If you beat someone around the world, go to the world, have a World Cup type thing for NBA, do it around the world. I know the Olympics is that type of thing, but they need to do something, and that's the one thing. And also, it's football.
Yeah, it is.
Right, I'm going to quickly pop to the toilet, and I will be back for the second half.
Go for it, for sure. We'll see you in a couple of minutes. But yeah, Josh, again, like I am a certified coach, so is Mark. So we've had our time playing on the pitch. We've had our time also on the coaching side of things. When you're playing the full pitch games, when you get to the older ages, it's 11 aside. So you've got one keeper and 10 outfield players. It can consist of any formation that you want. There's so many formations around the world. Traditionally, European style used to use a 4-4-2 with 4 defense, 4 midfield, 2 up front. It's gone a lot away from that over the years, a lot of time favoring a solo striker up front and usually a supporting attack in behind. So like a 4-2-3-1 combination, or like Manchester United today is actually playing with a 4-1-4-1. So what that does is puts a holding midfielder just ahead of the defense, allowing 2 midfielders just behind our solo attacker and a couple of wing attacks as well too. It's interesting because United have not gone with that formation much this season. They tend to favor the 4-2-3-1 situation with the forward line consisting of 3 in attack. But it's going okay so far. I mean, one of the quickest goals in FA Cup history was scored by City off the hop. Unfortunately, that was a little heartbreaking for me right off the start here, but it was a brilliant goal. United picked up a penalty later on in the game. The game is now 1-1 going into the second half. Because it is the FA Cup, and because I've got plans here today, if this thing doesn't wrap up in regular time and goes to overtime or anything of the sort, then I probably will have to duck out early, unfortunately, from this thing, as I do have an appointment here. But it's awesome having Mark on board. Awesome having you in the chat as well, too. It's awesome to have someone I can do soccer stuff with, or football stuff. I got to correct myself again. That's soccer over here in North America. It's football everywhere else in the world. And originally, my family is from England as well, too. So I definitely grew up with this. I've been passionate about it, whether it be World Cup, whether it be domestic football. I'm a Man United supporter, but I also like a lot of other teams. There's very few teams I don't care for. And I don't like Man City because of the fact that it's a derby. It's the 2 Manchester clubs. I can't like them. It's just the rule. But they're playing some damn nice football. I can't deny it. But yeah, there's so much to unfold when it comes to the sport if you haven't followed it before, but so much to love about it. People often ask, where do you start? Who do you cheer for? And that's an even more difficult decision because it's based on what you might find exciting. Some people sit there and go, oh, it's so boring. There's not enough much happening. It could be more exciting. And it depends what type of football, the style of football that you enjoy and stuff like that. Some people play more defensive, some play more attacking, and it's just the way that it is. So, it depends on your type of fandom for sports. If you like watching something that's high energy all the time, you might want to watch a more attacking sided football team. Otherwise, if you want to see something that's possibly going to end up in a 0-0 draw or a 1-1 draw at the end of the day, then defensive football is what you want to be looking for.
Yeah, it's all about tactics. There's games like I watched the other day, the playoff finals for League 2, League 1 and the Championship. It was tactical, the tactical battles to go on there. Violence. I've just seen the comment that has just come in, and I like, yeah,
yeah. There's the one.
All right, if you like that, go and watch. If you get the chance, go and look at Premier League tackles in the 80s. Yeah. Or type in, or another one you need to type in, Vinnie Jones, AFC Wimbledon.
Vinnie Jones. He's the biggest Manchester United supporter if you watch the movie Euro Trip anyway. But I think that was the funniest part one of the funniest parts about that movie is watching it, knowing that Vinnie Jones never played for Manchester United and would have never played for Manchester United.
No.
And to have him go in and being the biggest Manchester United supporter in that movie, I was cracking up hard for that. That whole scene is absolutely brilliant when they go in there too.
Vinnie Jones was the epitome of, I don't give a shit who you are, I am breaking your legs.
Yeah.
That's basically who Vinnie Jones was, and he doesn't care who you are. And thankfully, I'm thankful I sort of saw it. Or Eric Cantona versus Crystal Palace.
Oh, Cantona. The kick, you want the kick heard around the world, go look up what Eric Cantona did when a fan got out of line. That's the kick heard around the world right there. I will, but these clips will be my ultimate decision to follow this sport. Fingers crossed. Hey, I mean, if you follow what we just told you and you like violence, Vinnie Jones, Eric Cantona, you're going to go down a rabbit hole of fun right there.
Zidane in the World Cup final.
Yeah, yes, that was. I mean, even that for the modern people, that was actually spoofed on an episode of Family Guy as well too. So the Zidane and the headbutt heard around the world.
I have to say that headbutt was beautiful in every sense of the term.
Yeah,
he could not have landed on his chest any more perfect than what he did. I don't think he could. And the way he fell as well was majestic.
Yeah.
But we've heard multiple reports about what was said. And yeah. I can understand why Zidane headbutted him now.
Yeah. Well, and that's just it. Is a lot of the times what we see as viewers is just the violent portion of it. We don't necessarily know what was said between the people out on the pitch. And we were talking earlier on this stream about, the shit that gets said, a lot of it not meant, but again, some of it in some cases becomes a racial problem. And that has always been a problem with football is the racial comments that come from some of the players, some of the fans. It's uncalled for, and it definitely a stop needs to be done to it all here. As we are now off into the second half. Just give me one quick second, Mark. I just got to go fix something.
Yeah, go for it. Yep. Yeah, go for it. Yeah, so we're 5 minutes into the second half. I have just sprayed my drink fucking heavy. 5 minutes into the second half, Manchester City are on top again. They had 70% possession in the first half. De Bruyne is on the free kick out to the right-hand side near the corner flag, so they can sort of use this as like a corner kick tactic. They need to get this ball in the box. Sancho's the one in the wall, ready to go. De Bruyne is over it. This needs to go on Haaland's head. And it's going in now. Oh, it's gone to outside to Gundogan again. Is this it? The German sensation, Ilkay Gundogan, the Borussia Dortmund legend, and now the Manchester City captain. I thought that was an absolutely horrific free kick. I thought it was terrible. I did not know what they were doing. He uses his left foot this time, mishits it, and makes it 2-1. I don't know whether you have been behind me.
No, I've
celebrating.
And then, and this is the problem. Like this, all this United defense.
Oh, he should have saved that.
I know. I'll defend him on that first goal a little bit, but holy shit, that one, it was like he just didn't care. What the fuck?
Okay, so let's sort of explain this free kick. It was out to the right-hand side near the corner flag. Every player is in that box for Manchester City and Man United instead of Ilkay Gundogan and another player outside on the edge. No Manchester United player is near. He's out to the left-hand side on the edge of the box. He slices it with his left foot. Raphael Varane was closing him down, tried to get a leg out and missed it. De Gea is stretching. Oh, I'm going to have to move over my camera here. So, De Gea is stretching. The ball has literally, I'm using my bottle as the ball. The ball has gone there, and he's gone like that. And he's flicked it, and it's gone in. If you're a goal, Jesus fucking Christ, City, stop playing like that, you stupid bastards. Get it the fucking thing out. There we go. So it is now 2-1. Ilkay Gundogan has got 2. Another fun stat that we talked about that I've got here as well. Talking of that, if Ilkay Gundogan scores another goal, he will be the second player in the history of Manchester City to score a hat-trick at Wembley. The first player to do that was Riyad Mahrez this season against Sheffield United, getting 3, with only Sergio Aguero scoring more at Wembley, getting 6, but never a hat-trick. Another little fun stat there for everyone. I've still got a few more.
And again, if anyone wants to just turn on their TV to this game, even if you don't normally follow the game, tune in and have a look. This is the stadium that AEW is hosting. They're up. I don't think it's the next show, but in a couple of shows here that coming up. I mean, it is a massive, beautiful stadium.
Do you know what annoys me about this stadium and why AEW are doing it? Not that it's AEW. CM Punk is going to be in my stadium.
Yeah.
I hate CM Punk, and he is going to be stepping foot in the home of my land. I hate him. Hate him. Hate him. Hate him. Hate him. There's not one player I despise. Not player? I'm watching football, that's right. Not one wrestler I despise the most as in CM Punk.
I used to sit there on that front with CM Punk too once upon a time, but more so nowadays. I've grown into the point that it's like I've seen such bad wrestling at this point in time that CM Punk's status for me kind of grew a little bit because at least he respects the in-ring side of it a little bit more than what some do. So I'm neither here or there on Punk. I don't need CM Punk in my life, but I don't have as big an issue with him in my life as I did before. Josh coming in. I like his excitement. I want this fella to narrate my life. How do we make this happen? Do I pay in crumpets? You'll find I am a bit of an ass, but a fan. Josh, you've probably seen Mark in the chat of our shows here on OLE. So again, Mark Talks Wrestling is the program, and Josh actually has his own Moment with Joshua Joseph podcast that I was on recently there, Mark.
You did. You mentioned my name on that. Thank you. That means that I had. So I talked to Astrid a little bit away from streaming. I asked for her advice and I asked for help. I asked Ed as well and Chris and everyone. And I asked for advice and Astrid just threw it and go, by the way, Bobby mentioned you on the podcast. I went, yeah, all right, funny. You are. No one talks about this. She went, no. Go to 45 minutes. And listen. I went, all right. So I sat there. I was eating my dinner at the time. So I'm sat eating my dinner. And he goes, oh, yeah, I'm talking about Mark. I was like, I love you too, Bobby. It's literally my first thought in my head. I love you too.
Well, we're all about the support here. And I mean, you've shown all that support here to us, Mark, and we do appreciate that. And again, that's why I'm more than happy to be able to, we'll occasionally get together like this and do some football chat. I don't think it'll be a weekly thing, but hey, it's we're a couple of guys that love our football. We're going to do this a little bit more. Josh coming in. Oh, Bobby, you have to check out my take on CM Punk on Friday Night Hype. Team in your house HOWSE for work. That's what I found out on the chat there. But I'm definitely going to check that out this weekend sometime, Josh. It's been a little bit busy with the wife's birthday over the last little bit and everything, and just getting some of these streams and stuff. Bobby. That's right. Yeah, no, we had a lovely night with the in-laws last night, and the night before spent some time together. Other than the short period of time that she was kind enough to let me continue with Ring Respect Radio on her birthday there, and then of course we got a nice little afternoon planned here as soon as things wrap up. And then, just back to normal. So I'll be able to check some of that out. Looking forward to it. Wait to watch Busting Out tomorrow because I'm sure Paris is going to wind me up about that fucking new title that was dropped last night. And after
Did you not like it?
Oh, God, no. I hate it so much. Like,
I love it.
So, it's the same damn belt with a different color, though. That's my problem.
They were never going to change it, though, were they? If you think about it, they're never going to change it.
It just reeks. Astrid is fantastic gem, and she is the greatest get for our look. Damn straight, my man. Astrid is phenomenal, and it's been great not only getting to work with her on some streams, but again, we've been doing that show Killer Cuts where we talk about horror movies. It's awesome because we have got a couple of recordings coming up on Monday evening. Together, we're going to be doing back-to-back episodes of Killer Cuts in recording, and one of them is a local horror film that was actually shot in my province of Saskatchewan here. It features a good friend of mine, Danger Zone Mitch Clark, who actually was a former UFC fighter turned professional wrestler, who's now also taken his shot at movies. So that is called The Druid's Hand, and it is now available on YouTube, short horror film out of Saskatchewan. We're actually going to have Mitch Clark joining us on the show to talk about that one. And then we're also going to be recapping the Wes Craven 2005 movie Red Eye as well, too. Josh saying, yuck, it's gross. It just gross. That belt makes me a sad panda. Yeah, and I agree. And it's like, I get that they were never going to change it, but I just wish they would. That's my thing. I hate the big WWE logo in the middle of a belt like that. I really wish that they would come up with something a little better. But it's WWE. Their belts have been atrocious at best for decades. I like the
world heavyweight title is beautiful, by the way. The new world title is beautiful, and the new WWE one, for me, it doesn't make me hate it. It also, I like it. I like the way they're trying to. The way that I look at it and the way I thought about it is they're trying to make it closer to the world title, so it's more gold. It's more goldy than what it was. For me, when I look at a world title, it's gold. Gold is the title. Gold is the main thing you look at any title around the world. UFC, AEW, WWE, every title around the world gold, where WWE was black, and it annoyed me. Now they've added some gold to it. I'm like, yeah, all right, I'll take it. I don't care. It's fine by me. Roman Reigns is on that for another year anyway, most probably. So it's one of those things. Yeah. I still think Solo's the one who's going to be the one who dethrones him.
See, and Parrish brought that thought up the other day too, and I was just like, I don't know. Like, I like Solo a lot, but I'm like, is that really the direction they want to smash?
So the way that I look at it is, the way I think about it is we're going to get at Money in the Bank, we're going to get looking like Jimmy and Jay versus Solo and Roman. That's what it looks like. If we're being after last night, that's what they're going to go towards. SummerSlam, I'm predicting it's going to be either Jimmy or Jay versus Roman at SummerSlam. We're then going to get, I reckon Solo wins Royal Rumble. I'm predicting Solo will win Royal Rumble. And I think he will go on to WrestleMania and he will do the Batista thing. I think they will do like the Triple H Batista thing, where Solo will have to choose between Seth Rollins or Gunther. It better be Gunther or Roman Reigns for the titles. And I think he'll just turn on Roman a week or two before WrestleMania, and he'll go on and win it. And then he will become the head of the table. He will be the tribal chief.
They got a lot of hope for Solo if that's the case. Again, I don't think he's ready yet. I'm not saying he won't ever be, because I absolutely love that family, by the way. And when I had the opportunity to sit down on Ring Respect Radio with Lance Hawaii for a conversation, it was great just learning the history and be able to sit there with somebody who brings that family heritage to the table, and him talking about, growing up with the Usos, with Roman, and even he talked with us about when he was actually there, present at SmackDown, and got his spot out there and was in catering and everything. Absolutely brilliant. Love the family. Again, I'm not against Solo being a champion. To me, if I'm writing this thing out, I still think they haven't closed the gap on Cody's story. I think Cody should win Money in the Bank.
Cody will be the one that will go on to dethrone Seth. That will be his story.
I just don't
think
that's
Cody's story.
I just don't think that title really fits the story anymore. I think that he should have won. He should win Money in the Bank. I think he should go on to dethrone Roman myself, because that's the belt with the heritage that he's been talking about and everything like that. The other one feels like a consolation prize for not being able to beat the big guy, kind of thing. And it's unfortunate if it goes that way.
I think once Roman loses that WWE title, that World Heavyweight title and the WWE title will be in line with how prestigious and how big it will feel. But until Roman Reigns, who, in my opinion, is the greatest character that I have ever seen in a WWE ring, and I will go on saying Stone Cold, The Rock, Undertaker, that. But Roman Reigns is the way Roman Reigns does things. It is so phenomenal. It is unbelievable. And I think once he goes away fully and never ever comes back again, I think a lot of people will be able to appreciate just how magnificent this is. He is up there now with the likes of The Undertaker, The Rock, Stone Cold. if we're talking of greatest wrestlers, he is up there with them. Personally, anyway, that's what I think.
Agree with you as well too on that front. He's done brilliantly. This whole storyline has done brilliantly. Even when people were sour on Roman, I was never sour on his ability.
No,
I was more sour on the way he was being presented, and I think that was the biggest issue.
The character was not good.
No.
The way that they were trying to make him a babyface, the fans did not want him to be a babyface, and they were pushing him down our throats to be a babyface. And he's a bit like John Cena, mixed reactions, mixed views. Microphone skills weren't great, but now no one will be able to fucking hell. Won't be able to ever touch what Roman Reigns does. Even John Cena says he is far ahead, bigger and better than what we've got at the moment. Right, back to football.
Yeah, definitely back to football. We're still
remember Joseph. We said, remember Josh, football. I know you're American, and I know you said it's soccer all your life, so I'm going to help. Football.
Beat it into him.
Oh yes, I will.
So
should we do another? Should we do a couple more stats?
We should, right after we mentioned that Garnacho was the recent sub for Manchester United, now on the pitch. Yeah. This kid, only 18 years old, if I'm not mistaken. Just a little way to put it. This kid kind of looks like was it Malfoy from the Harry Potter series there? After he dyed his bleach blonded his hair there anyway. That's kind of the impression I get when I see him out there. But he's a fantastic young footballer. As long as he doesn't let things get to his head, I'm sure he'll work out great. And I believe I think I brought you to tears there.
Oh, you need to clip that. Oh God. You've absolutely killed me.
Yeah,
I've literally cried. I was not expecting that to come out at all.
You won't unsee it next time you see that kid on the pitch.
I've literally just Googled him to make sure I got the name right, and the first picture I've got is him with blonde hair, and all I can see is Draco Malfoy, and it's really annoying me now.
Yeah.
Oh God, I'm literally going to remember him as Malfoy, aren't I? Yeah. Literally how I'm going to think of him as. Oh God, I was not expecting that. Yeah. So Garnacho is Malfoy is going to have a very bright future. The one issue I have with him is consistency, and I know he's young and he's not going to really get that. But there's something about good catch. The one thing that I feel like with him is he's good at being very direct, getting the ball and going at them and going at defenders. But he still is missing it. He hasn't got so he needs to find a way of being it, because he's going to fall in the category as like a Fabrizio Makeda that he did wonders in like the first 4 games and then just disappeared.
Yeah.
And going through the academy, and there's a lot of those players that do wonders at Man United because it's a Man United, and you've got the players around you to make you there. But he needs to. He needs to shine himself. He needs to show that he's cutting above of who he is. And I haven't seen that yet. But he's 18. He's got plenty of time. And being around with the players of like Ronaldo, Rashford, Ronaldo was there, Rashford. You've got Bruno Fernandes there. You've got Casemiro, Rafael Varane. Absolute massive pillars of the football game throughout their history. Their knowledge will do wonders for him. And Rodri's just left to do whatever the fuck he wants. Oh, there's Rashford. Okay.
We got Josh coming in. There are no muggles, right? I can't watch muggles against the Wizard fam. I've started something fun here, that's for sure.
You have. You've started something now.
Why don't we head on over to some stats now so we can stop thinking about Harry Potter.
Come on then, muggles. Let's have a look at some stats. Oh, God. I've still got Draco Malfoy in my head. Okay, Marcus Rashford and Casemiro won target for Manchester United in their League Cup final win against Newcastle. There have been 5 players to score in both major domestic cup finals for the Red Devil. Norman Whiteside, Mark Hughes, Brian McClare, Cristiano Ronaldo, and Jesse Lingard. Erling Haaland has 52 goals in all competition for Manchester City so far this season. He could become the first ever Norwegian player to score in an FA Cup final. At the moment, he is not. Gundogan is taking all of his light. We've got 2 more stats left. I do one, and then we will save the last one. It's a little bit later on. Since his FA Cup final debut, Riyad Mahrez has scored more goals in the competition proper than any other player. He has scored 5 so far this season. The last time a City player scored more goals in a single season, he scored 11 so far this season in a single season, is 1933-34. Fred Tillsman, who got 9. Nice little fun little stats there for everyone.
I'm glad you brought that today, Mark. Oh! It's always fantastic.
Should have been a goal there. Should have been a goal by Marcus Rashford.
I mean, this has been very, very interesting. Man U is trying to push all they can, but again, that City, they're hard to break. And you're right. I mean, Rashford should have scored. He knows he should have scored. That's the thing there.
You can see by his face. He's got his shirt over his face. He has no idea. But he has an idea he should have scored. He has no idea how he didn't. I think for me, that was easier to miss than it was to score.
You see, the problem is again, like he's trying to get that lift, but as you always know, that if you get too much under it and get it, especially with the toe, you're going to get too much lift. It's going to go over the top like it did. He needed to get just a little bit more under it with the laces, and then he would have been able to direct that into the net.
I think he tried to rush it, and he rushed it a bit too much. And at the end of the day, he just completely and utterly skied it. And it was a bit of a should have really done much better than that. But Man City are dominating this at the moment. I would say possession-wise, Man City are dominating it. The one thing Man United have in their corner is when Man City are dominating, they're not really doing much attacking-wise. The 2 goals they got, you can mostly say the first goal was basically a set piece type of goal, long ball, headed, volley. Second one was another set piece goal, coming from a free kick and doing it. And Liam, I'm just getting shots of Liam Gallagher winding up a Man United kid and winding him up this in front of him, only the way the Oasis brother can, winding everyone up as he loves to do.
Right there, yeah.
Well, they wind everyone up so much that they hate each other. So
a couple of stats on the FA Cup game that I'll drop here. At the moment, City have actually had 9 shots to Manchester United's 6. They have had 4 on target to Manchester United's 1. Possession is 63% with Man City, 37% with United. City with 426 passes with an 88% pass accuracy. United at 249 passes, 77% accuracy. Both tied on fouls at 8 apiece. Only 1 yellow card for Wan-Bissaka. 2 offsides for United, 1 for City. So that means that City have had 2 corners to Manchester United's 1 so far. Statistically, City dominating this thing.
Offside.
Yep.
Erling Haaland should have scored that. He should have scored that. He should not have been missing that target. Well, he got it on target, but he should not be putting it where he put it. Gundogan is offside when the shot is taken. He's saved by David De Gea. Drops to Man City player, who then is clearly in offside position.
It's lucky for United, because that would have put it to rest. There would have been no coming back from 3-1 down. Unless
United bring on another attacker and really go for it. The only way I would say what Man United have to do now is find a way of getting a hold of this game. They have to get a hold of this game. They can't be letting Man City dictate it, and that's what they're doing. Garnacho!
Again, that kid pops up every once in a while, and there's the moments of brilliance that if they continue to harness that, he's going to become brilliant for sure.
Nice pass there by Bruno Fernandes. Cuts it outside for the left-hand side. Right foot. Tries to get in the bottom right-hand corner. And just misses it. Good defending there by Diaz and Stone to sort of force him to go across goal. There was no way he could go to the near post, where would have been an easier target for him. But should have scored that, in my opinion. That's two very clear-cut chances there for me, for Man United. That has to be very. They have to get a striker in the summer. Their main target, they have to get a striker, and they have to get another defender. Whatever they do, no matter what happens now, they need another defender. You can deal with Wan-Bissaka and Darla at right back. You could deal with Luke Shaw, left back, and whoever can cover Luke Shaw as well can go left back as well.
They got Terrell Malacia as well too, that does decent at left back.
Yes, that's him. Yeah. Alex Telles is out on loan. He's leaving the club anyway at the end of the season.
Yeah, exactly.
On a free. So they got Bruno Fernandes, but they still need more creativity. That's the one thing I think Manchester United are missing is that creativity. They got Bruno Fernandes, who's good, and I think he's a very, very good player. But I have an issue with Bruno Fernandes, and I'm not saying he's not a great player, but he goes missing. And when he goes missing and things don't go with him, he turns into the biggest crybaby I have ever experienced in my life. My daughter is 7, and she does. Oh, that should have been a goal. And she does not do the bigger crybaby as much as what he does. I tell you, Ten Hag needs to put him on the naughty step.
Yeah, and I agree with you 100%. And again, it's why they need to bring in another backup midfield player too. Like we noticed that once Casemiro hit his red cards this season, Eriksen ended up with injury. And again, both of them in their 30s, so injuries can become a big problem moving forward.
Yeah, about that.
Oh, it should happen.
It was against Reading when Eriksen got injured as well.
He was on fire. Things happen. It's all good. It's part of the game.
Andy Carroll absolutely annihilated him. I was like, why are you doing that? But I loved it at the same time because it's
well, I mean, I understand.
I haven't done it for about an hour. I haven't done a dig at United for about an hour and 40 minutes. I had to do one.
It's okay. It's respect, my friend. It's respect. But yeah, I mean, it was clear that once we lost those players in those positions, that your McTominays, your Freds and stuff, they just aren't quite up to stuff in terms of that position. Fred has moments, and sometimes he can be good. And McTominay needs to go somewhere else. Hands down. I'm not saying McTominay's bad.
Newcastle apparently reported in wanting to buy McTominay. I don't think he's a good fit for Newcastle.
I think
he's a much further down player than the Newcastle type of player. Newcastle need to be going for Champions League type quality players. I love Newcastle. I have a strong affiliate to Newcastle because when I went up there, when I was 18, I went up there to watch Reading play, and I went up there on a coach and I stayed the weekend. And I knew me and my mates went up there, and we went to a pub in Newcastle, and it was full of Newcastle fans. And if you're from England and you go to a club full of your home support or away support, go away. I'm not talking to you. And you go to there. One, there's a fight. There's going to be a fight if you do it. Or two, if you don't behave yourself, there's going to be a fight. But when we went into this pub, Newcastle fans would sit down at the table with us, had chats, brought us beers, had long conversations with them, and it was just like it felt welcoming. You can have a laugh and a joke, and you can go and have a bit of banter with them as well. But it just felt right. I'll give you the opposite. I went to Tottenham, and I was walking outside the old White Hart Lane. And as I was walking outside that, I was walking back to the coach, and 2 Tottenham fans walked past me saying, "If you don't hurry up and get to the coach, I'm going to stab you." I went, "Yeah, time for me to go home."
Yeah.
Time for me to go home.
And it's true. And again, so a little bit of history, of course, like I've said, my family is originally from England. So my old man would have started as what they call Bobby, as a police officer in England. He would actually have to work some of the games and stuff like that too. And he said just one of the most intimidating things is working a Saturday or a Sunday match and just the atmosphere afterwards and everything. And you're there to try to keep the violence down, but you're not guaranteed to keep the violence down, especially back then in the that would have been in the 70s, I believe, late 70s.
If violence happening, you can try and tame it, but it's going to happen. They will find ways of it happening. Especially English football, it is ridiculed with hooliganism. It's slightly timid now, depending on the teams you're playing against. Let's be honest. If Liverpool versus Everton is not going to be that violent, but if you go up to Scotland and you have Rangers versus Celtic, there's violence. If you're going to have in England, You're going to have Millwall versus West Ham, guaranteed violence. If you're going to have Millwall versus Luton, violence. If you're going to have Luton versus West Ham, violence. London clubs, basically, is all about London. London hooliganism was really bad. And Liverpool v Man United, violence.
Yeah.
And if you don't know about it, and if you're not really known the history of it, Norwich versus Ipswich, the East Midlands clubs, East Anglia Derby, I think they're called. They hate each other, and there is violence there. It's basically tractor versus tractor. And if you're in the UK and you're watching this, I know you're laughing, so it's fine.
Yeah. What if we get? Oh no! Why am I again? They're putting this. I thought, you're not re-signing this guy. Why are you putting Weghorst out here? I just don't get it. I don't understand him from the beginning. I don't like him. I don't think that this is going to be the difference maker in this matchup for us. I know that, talked about putting on an extra attack, but I don't know. I don't know that this guy's going to be the one to do it against City, especially. But hey, who knows? Maybe he'll turn this thing around. Maybe I'll be shocked and eating my words here. But yeah, back to the violent part. Like my old man, I remember telling the story the one time of one of the riots that got out of hand. Ended up having he was cracked over the back of the head with like a club or a 2x4 or something like that. Ended up waking up in a old telephone. I'm trying to think of the name now. Like it's been so long since telephone box. It's been so long since they had him around that it slips your mind. But he ended up waking up inside of one of those, and a couple of guys had dragged him in and just kind of made sure that he didn't get trampled on or anything like that. But that was the intimidating part, was that the violence was so high that a lot of the times that as an officer, you were there to just hopefully keep it down a little bit. But again, you were outnumbered. There's more fans than there are officials around there. There's nothing you can do if it starts getting out of hand.
Or that could be handball. If that Jack Grealish one is a handball, that could be one. It's not. Foden back to Haaland and Bernardo Silva. Oh! Akanji should have scored that. So talking about Weghorst, he has played for Manchester United in 30 appearances since he signed on loan since January in all competitions. He has got 2 goals. The 2 goals one goal come in the League Cup and one come in Europe. I can't remember who that was against. I'm not even going to try it. And he's played 17 times in the Premier League and hasn't scored at all. He was also on loan at Besiktas from Burnley, where he got 16 appearances and 8 goals in total. He got 18 appearances and 9 goals in all competitions. And he will be going back to Burnley in the summer, where I think he will be released on a free. I don't think they are going to be renewing his contract, if I am completely honest. They don't want him in the Premier League next season because they got promoted, and he will not be with them. I'm just having a look to see when his contract is up. Let's see if I can find it. His current contract expires the end of June, the end of this month in 2023. Also, we were talking off air about Jadon Sancho.
Yeah.
Before we come on, I want to. Here we go. Manchester United contract. I remember I was going to tell you about this, but I completely forgot. So he signed a 5-year deal with a contract estimated to be worth £91 million as well on that. His average salary will be £18 million throughout the whole. I think that might be a year. We'll earn. Oh, here we go. So Jadon Sancho signed a 5-year, £91 million contract with Man United, including an annual average salary, so every year, £18.2 million in 2023, and will earn a basics of £18.2 million while carrying a cap hit of, well, we don't do caps in the UK at all. And his contract runs out in 2026-27 season, so he could potentially be a free agent in year 27. I think personally, his weekly salary is a £350,000 a week currently.
That's insane.
At Manchester United. I just want to know Bruno Fernandes' Man United contract, to be honest.
And that's the problem with United right now is a lot of players on very high salaries, and none of them really doing enough to justify them for the most part. That is the biggest issue. Like that kind of salary for Sancho, it's like there's no wonder we're going to end up losing him on a free transfer because nobody's going to want to take him to compensate for the amount that we paid for him in the first place. And so much promise when he came in. And look at this: who do we got coming in? Is this McTominay coming in?
Yeah. McTominay has come on. Erling Haaland's gone round 1-2. Come on, back off him. Should have done better than that. Bruno Fernandes is on £240,000 a year. You can say that's £100,000 a week less than Jadon Sancho, who, let's be honest, Bruno Fernandes has done a heck of a lot more in the past few years than what.
They should just trade their salaries on those two players because honestly, Bruno's earned it. Sancho has not.
No. Marcus Rashford, I'm going to say this and do take this with a pinch of. He's only on £200,000 a week. I say only.
But he's only. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
His contract runs out at the end of next season. So he could, if he doesn't sign a new deal, leave in the summer, or he could leave to a foreign club. When I say foreign, European, outside of the UK. In England, we call it, he can leave to a foreign club outside the UK in January, where he could sign a pre-contract agreement with them moving forward. But apparently that is one of the main targets Erik ten Hag has said that he wants to be completed before the start of next season is Marcus Rashford's contract, but nothing will be done until the new owners take over.
And that's fair. And again, Ronaldo, Ronaldo. Sorry, my apologies. Rashford, it seems low, and it is low for what he's done this season. But prior to that, last season and a little bit before, he was starting to hit that slump where people were thinking that he just wasn't quite the quality of player he once was. And that has changed entirely this season. He has come out of his shell, become one of the best around, period, and has earned more than what he is currently being paid. So a new contract would be fantastic, but I wouldn't be upset with him if he went for greener pastures and went for bigger money, because there is opportunity out there for a young guy like him and if somebody who's playing at the caliber he is at the moment.
Yeah. So this is interesting. Fabrizio Romano tweeted about an hour ago about Bruno Fernandes's stats in the last 6 seasons. In 2017-18, he got 16 goals, 18 assists. In 2018-19, he got 32 goals, 18 assists. In 2019-20, he got 27 goals, 22 assists. In 2020-21, 28 goals, 17 assists. Last 21-22 season, 10 goals, 14 assists. And 2022-23 season, he got 14 goals and 15 assists in his time at Manchester United. And that tells me one thing, and one thing only. Bruno Fernandes has fucking carried Man United for the past 6 years.
Yep. I 100% agree with you.
Far.
There's a reason there's Captain Armbad. Chris Parrish, how you doing, my brunch buster brother? How good to see you out here. I know you absolutely love the sport of football. I know what you like to call it, but we're gonna beat it into you that this is the real football that we're watching. Football.
It's proper football. That's right. As I tried to explain to you the other day in the chat, it is football. It is nothing else. But yeah, it's interesting to see as well, if we're going to go from stats from other teams as well. Hugo Lloris says he wants to leave Tottenham in the summer. Zlatan Ibrahimovic will be leaving AC Milan in the summer. He will get in a fond farewell tomorrow at the San Siro and will be making his decision at the age of 42. He will turn 42 in October, whether he will carry on playing or go into other roles. I would not be surprised if that man carries on playing as well.
That's insanity. 42.
42, and he's still playing at one of the biggest clubs in world football in AC Milan, who got to the semi-finals of the Champions League and, let's be honest, got destroyed by Inter Milan for them to be facing. But Ilkay Gundogan is one of the... he's also tweeted Fabrizio Romano saying he's one of the most underrated players in this last decade. I think I agree with that. Apparently, Manchester City have opened concrete talks to find Mato Kovic from Chelsea. Apparently, positive talks with the players camp over the last few days on personal terms, and Chelsea are open to selling the midfielder, as they are going to be selling a load of players. And also Manchester United have opened talks with Mason Mount about coming to Manchester United. But the stumbling block is that Chelsea want 80 million for a player.
That's deep.
Let's have a look at Mason Mount's stats for this season, shall we?
Let's do. Because I don't think 80 million warrants buying Mason Mount.
So this season, he played in the Premier League 24 times. He got 3 goals and 2 assists. He also got 4 yellow cards. He played 9 times in the Champions League and didn't get a goal or an assist. He played once in the Carabao Cup. He played 2 in the Club World Cup, 2 games in the Club World Cup. No goals, no assists. And he played in the UEFA Super Cup and played once. And just 80 million for a player with those stats just does not. He's English.
Yeah.
And he's got the English tax. It's basically what it is. And I'm not afraid to say that. That is English tax. That is fineness. And it is horrible in every... It's like Declan Rice. He's going to be leaving West Ham in the summer, and they want 100 million for him if he's going to be playing outside of the UK. But if you're in the UK, then it's 150 million. I'll let you read that.
Yeah. Bear's saying he's doing his fantasy American football draft now.
Yeah.
Also, the football topic is great and love the passion it brings out in both the fan bases. And I agree with you. Again, I know that, Parrish, you're not a fan of this type of football at all, and I respect that. I get it. It's not as big a deal over here in North America sometimes, but for those of us that love this sport and are passionate about it, we're just like you with your teams as well too, sir. We get right into it. We have fun. We've been having a fucking blast here today. It's been great. Mark's been dropping stats all over the place. So if you want the stats, Parrish, you just rewind this and go take care of it from there. And hold on, I didn't say American. You did. No. That's because it is American football, buddy. Like this is football.
It's rugby. It's a worse version of rugby. I will not have. I love rugby and I love American football. But the amount of pads you lot have for American football, it is ridiculous. Just let you hit them. In rugby, we don't have pads. We have them hitting each other very hard. Manchester United have come on top of this. We are now in the final 4 minutes of this game. Manchester United have to do something now to force this game into extra time. And if you're in North America, then it is overtime, I think you guys call it. Over there, and if I do not bring that comment up, do not bring that comment on.
Ooh.
No. I'm not having any of that.
You're out of here, Parrish. Gone.
I know you're a retired wrestler, but I'm a very fat man. I will take you, I promise. And I'm English, so I'm scrappy. I'll tell you.
It's gonna be a good old hooligan beating up in here.
It is.
Of course, I love you, Parrish. I know you're just trying to stir the pot as always. Yeah, that's what you're good at, bud. I know.
Oh, it's fallen to McTominay. It's gone over the top. Ryan hits crossbar. McTominay's headed it back in, and it's gone over the bar. It's another corner kick. Jesus Christ.
They're breaking my goddamn heart.
Manchester United are throwing the pressure on top of Man City. Let's quickly describe what happened. Luke Shaw crosses it in. McTominay mistouches it. Sancho tries to hit it. No, that's Varane. Tries to see it. Keeper saves it. Goes to McTominay again, who then headers it over the bar. It is. Man United are now full on it. If Man City want to complete the treble, the only other team to complete a treble in English football is Manchester United in the 99 season, where they beat, but obviously, Bayern Munich in one of the great... Parrish. Mate.
You're funny.
I want to come on this channel again, but I will come over there. I will fly to America. Oh, it's gone in. Kicked out by Kyle Walker.
Yeah.
Carl Walker versus Luke Shaw, 2 English lads going one-on-one. One left back, one right back. Oh, man, this is getting exciting. If you're a Man United fan, this is getting to the nervous. But Garnacho with one of the worst crosses that he could have possibly done and has ruined. That could have been it. I think that might be it. If you are Man City, you are now time management, wasting the next minute and a half. Garnacho, that's the thing that Garnacho pressured situation. I think John Stones, when he went for that header, headed the crossbar. Yep, he did.
Yeah.
He headbutted the crossbar.
I mean, you got to do what you got to do. And it's, I mean, yeah, did he ever headbutt that? Like, when you see that up close.
Fully. He didn't. He fully committed to headbutting that crossbar.
And he was on jelly legs right afterwards.
Yeah.
You can see that little bit of a wobble
Right.
that he's got going on. I mean, that's fucking commitment right there to your team when you do shit like that. Oh, I mean, it's tough because I know this. I mean, I'm going to end up with the predicted score win right here. I said 2-1 for City despite being a United fan. And this is the way it looks like it's going to end.
Yeah. Also, if Joshua Joseph is still here, if you are around, there's another player I want you to check out. His name's Terry Butcher. I don't know whether you know of him or have heard of him. He is very famous for having blood down his face and a headband on, for still blood pouring through and playing. And he still went for headers and everything. There's another player you should check out as well if you like that type of thing. Very old school. You don't get that these days. You're off the pitch for about 45 minutes if you've got a bit of blood.
And compared to the ball that they use today, the old balls were like a thick leather thing. And when they played in the ring, those things were heavy. Very heavy. And guys going for headers. I mean, I'm surprised that there wasn't a concussion protocol brought into the sport just due to the weight of that ball in the ring.
Concussion protocol for football over in the UK happened 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Concussion protocols have come into the sport 3 years ago. The way the game has changed now, if you are is the academy coach now. I think Terry Butcher is a coach. He does stuff now. I don't know where he is. He went to Thailand and was their national team manager, I think, at one point, and got sacked after 2 weeks, which I think was because they realised who Terry Butcher actually was. And shit, was it? Oh, Haaland is in. He's going one-on-one. No, he's going in the corner. Yeah. He's very clever there by Haaland, wasting the time, and gets the corner out of it and celebrates. Manchester United look like they have lost. It is going to be the second trophy out of 3. He has another one on Saturday, next Saturday, the Champions League final against Inter Milan. Manchester City have never won the Champions League. Inter Milan have. And they're going into this in the biggest European final, second. FA Cup's the biggest. European final in the world. And Haaland has now just dragged it out, going back. It's still in. Kicked it away. Referee is still not blowing the whistle. The ball has gone out. It is now a Manchester City throw-in. The referee's looking at his watch. How many more? We've gone 1 minute more than the 4 minutes that were added on.
Yeah, they're really playing this thing out.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not sure why,
especially. Knowledge. Perry, I know. I'm very shocked that you said that. I'm not going to lie.
I'm impressed.
Very impressed. Went for one last long ball, headed it back to the keeper, and the keeper is now... And there it is. Full time. Manchester City are FA Cup winners. They are now one step away from becoming the second English team in the history of English football to win a treble. That was one of the best FA Cup finals I've watched in a long time. Not only because of this watch along. And I want to say, Bobby, I'm going to say this before I'm going to get all emotional, so get over it. You're going to have to take it.
No problem.
But for even coming to me and asking me to be on here and talking to you and going through and having this discussion about football and talking about, especially this channel. This channel has done, I'm going to take my glass off now, I can see. Especially on this channel as well. Chris, you have been absolutely amazing in the stuff that you've helped me with. Bobby, you have been, you're that side. It's mirrored, it's different way. Bobby, you have been fantastic in the work that you've done, especially on this channel. and especially the mental health video. As you know, if you haven't known already, I did a mental health video after watching Bobby's video, going through everything that I went through, and it inspired me to do that. Ed as well, Ed Fries. I know he's definitely not going to be here because he doesn't watch it, but I want to say thank you to him as well for all the support he's been giving me. I slid into his Discord DMs all the time with questions, and he always comes back with answers as well. And it is amazing what you guys do for people, especially with all of the stuff you do on your channel. It is amazing to see, and the success you're getting, you deserve a fuck ton more than what you're getting at the moment, and you will get there if you carry on going. And I love you guys so much, and being a part of this. Hopefully, Bobby, we get to do this a heck of a lot more because I've loved it, and just thank you very much.
Yeah, no, and as Parrish coming in, I'll put this one first. He says, thanks for coming on, my man. It's always great to meet new people, and I second that as well, too. Love your passion. It's what we love. And again, we're all about support here on our local establishment, Mark. It's why we've seen that coming from you. You've been out supporting all of our shows, and we want to do the same for you. It's why we've been trying to get people to come to your channel. We want to grow along with the people who support us, and that's what it's all about here at our local establishment. I've been very fortunate enough to share the screen with you here today, a fellow football fan, and it won't be the last time as well, too. We will find more opportunities, whether it be watch-alongs, whether it be just talking about some of the different trades that are going to be happening over the summer. We will find ways to sit down and do this a little bit more often, have some fun with it as well. I do appreciate you being on here today. In the meantime and in between time, though, Mark, why don't you let people know what you got coming up on your channel, and plug your socials, let everybody know where they can find you.
Right. I've got a lot going on, so if you've got the time, here we go. So I have two channels. I have Mark Talks Sport and I have Mark Talks Wrestling. On my wrestling channel, we mainly and most probably will do 3 shows a week. We've got the Raw review, we got the SmackDown NXT review, and we go live on Twitch and on YouTube on Mark Talks Wrestling, and where we will go live and reviewing SmackDown, what happened on the show and what we want to happen moving forward. And if there's any NXT live shows, I will be doing watch-alongs on Mark Talks Sport, which I have for my football channel. It's all about Reading Football Club at the moment. We're currently going through a difficult phase. We're trying to find a new manager. When the new manager is announced, I have made a 30-minute video talking tactics about what he will be bringing to the club and that moving forward. So once that's announced, that will be coming out. All my Twitters are Mark Talks WWE, because I couldn't fit wrestling in Mark Talks Wrestling on Twitter. So just type in Mark Talks Wrestling, the name's there, it will be there. Same with Facebook, same with TikTok. I have TikToks, I do one every single day on Mark Talks Sport and Mark Talks Wrestling on there as well. So just type it in, I am around. And don't forget, if there's any problems you guys are having at home, or if there's anything that you guys are going through and there's no one else to talk to, there are numbers up there to talk. If not, slide into my DM or Bobby's DM or whoever, and we will help you find that people. Or if you just want to listen or just want someone to rant to, and just that's all you need, then I happily listen to a rant, because as you can tell, I can talk for fucking days. Yeah, so it doesn't bother me whatsoever. So yeah, that's me. Over to you. You're that side. You.
Sounds good. So you're going to be able to follow me at the below there links. That's where you're going to be able to reach out to myself. Of course, you can find me all over OLE. I just dropped a couple of new reviews here this morning on the musical side of things. I did a review of the new Foo Fighters album, as well as the new Avenged Sevenfold album as well too. Oh yeah, it's awesome.
I might have to go check that out.
Yeah, I love it. It's almost like it's like a soundtrack to a movie, while also bringing in different styles of every type of music that ever influenced the band. It is brilliant. Give it a couple listens through to really.
You've made me want to listen to that now. Okay.
Yeah, it's awesome. But you can check that out. It's the Bravado here on.
Your microphone's gone. Hold on. Your microphone's still gone. Hold on. Bobby's got some technical. He's got so excited he decided to punch something. He was so upset that Man United lost that he decided to break everything.
But as I was saying before, the technical difficulties, you're going to be able to find tomorrow with Chris Parrish, and also being joined by Lauren Goodnight, who's going to be our very special guest on Busting Out. We know last time she was on the show, we had an absolute blast, and so she's going to be a delight to have there again.
I love Lauren. She Do you know what I love about Lauren? She has no filter, and it is amazing. When she gets going, it's because she's on Tom Conahue's Discord. When she gets going, it is the greatest. It's like Ed's rant the other day. It is amazing to see, and I love it.
Yeah, she's brilliant. Gonna love having her on the show tomorrow. You can also go check out our good friends at Rogue Energy. I've had that up throughout the show. Use the promo code OLEPODS for 10% off your order. And if you want to get a hold of us on OLE, there's the ticker down below. All of our socials, all of the ways to follow us. You can do so. Support everybody here on the channel as always. We love everything you guys do for us. If you're on the YouTube side, you can stay with us momentarily. I am just firing up a small little raid to send over to our good friend, Heel Kevin, who I want you guys to give a good morning. Ole, welcome to our good friend over there. Great supporter of our channel and a good friend of mine as well, too. We're heading over there right now as we speak. And on the YouTube side, you are still with us. Thank you for tuning in to this watch along. We will see you again very, very soon. For myself,
Up the city!
And
Up the city!
out of here. Have a good rest of your day, everybody.